Welcome back to the Mediocre Expansion. In this episode, it's time to wrap up basic parts by bringing in quartz to Nebula Sanctum. Before I bring the quartz in, I need to decommission the old mining spots. Here, and here. And to redesign some railways to improve logistics flow, since a roller coaster isn't really the best way to get around. So stick around to see this rogue engineer build up this world to support Phase 4 needs, in spite of what the FICSIT micromanager's key performance indicators might say. Well, it's time to decommission some of these old plants. This is my first quartz area that I originally had a long conveyor coming all the way down here, and I also died about 14 times. Let's see how I can take this and make a nice station somewhere for delivering quartz just over there. Actually, it's just right there. I also remember, I think there's a quartz node, yep, right underneath underneath my train station. So it's just as easy as that. All right, now we have a blank slate here. And we'll decommission this silica processing plant and make it into just a raw quartz mining site. But one train services this just to make aluminum, but that's all going to change. So once this other train comes in, we'll remove this train, decommission it, and remove this building with all of its constructors here on top. The Silica Rift Express. Here it is. You have served me well, and it's time for you to have a nice rest. And it's just as easy as removing this rail. Oh, I guess I probably should have waited to the end. Now I can't fly. Blueprints does make it quite a bit easier to decommission everything. It's kind of making me dizzy. Hopefully you don't get dizzy. Let's try side to side here too. I think Bean's happy. He's getting his little land back. And that's it. That quartz processing in the silica plant is gone. So let's go ahead and make some new train stations and figure out how I want all that to go. For building this stuff, I'm just going to get a lay of the land. So I've got a couple of quartz nodes back in here, but I have quartz coming in from over there. I was starting over here, and the downslope wouldn't really get me down into here. So instead, I'm going to make this a taller building in here just for the trains. I could do like a two-tiered train station. It enters in from this one spot and then maybe like circles around or something. I think that'd be just something a little bit different. All right, well, I'm working on something that's just working out. I don't know how I made this work out right, but it's working out. I've got my main line coming in off of the other main line, and that's going to enter into this structure type thing over here. So I thought that maybe I could fit both of those train stations right on this top floor, and there's not enough room. So then I was like, well, maybe I could do something and have like a train go underneath here and have another station down here somewhere. What if I did like a spiral train going down? I haven't done anything like that. So that's what I'm working on. And somehow this works out just perfect. Oh no. Oh man, there's a rock right in the middle of it. Everything was going so smooth. Okay, I think I have a solution. I think it's gonna be okay. Instead of going in the middle, I think I can bring it right here. And now we're making it around, and I'll be able to squeeze this right in between that rock and this pillar. Oh man, that worked out good. And we are actually mining our coal. I guess we have to hook it up. All right, here we go. Let's go up this spiral. See what this is like. Well, it's time to do what we set out to do, and that's get the rest of the quartz over here into this train station. And we've got our quartz pretty much hooked up here. I'm just coming over here to see what kind of throughput these have, and they both are at 240. So that's going to be an easy split up towards the top, but just wanted to show this off here for a minute. So I've got this little outpost logistics stand that I've been using, and just trying to find a good way to use it as I go through. So what I'm going to do for this is just have a concrete pillar on the bottom of it and keep these all right at the same level, so that way they're not just kind of haphazardly put wherever. So it's going to bring all of my quartz up through here, and then I'll split it off into 2 of the different freight platforms. And now that quartz is coming in, let's go ahead and give this a name. I think something like Quarry Alpha Quartz Dispatch. And for this train's name, we'll go ahead and call it Bulk Quartz Barrier. Oh yeah, I forgot to put my little buffers in here, so now they're here. And there is Quarry Alpha. Once you come in here to Quarry Alpha, you have a little basement area for the coal. But if you do take the train into here, there is a little spot back here in the back where you can go in and get some work done. There's some storage. There's an equipment workshop, a crafting bench, and a MAM. Ooh, I have a hard drive that was completed. I saw something kind of neat. I'm going to do this actually. Let's get rid of this door. So now the door into this area, we have like a little heat pump air conditioning thing there. The door to get into here is now also the equipment workshop. And I'll just say there's gonna be more decorating going on in here, just trying to get something that looks a little bit nicer, but this is definitely a mining outpost, so nothing super fancy, I guess. I don't know. I like the lighting for this. This is just like the style that I've been doing. And Site 2 is now operational, just like that. And this is a simple one because it just goes down into the other side of Nebula Sanctum. I decided to call this station Crystal River. Okay, so not really sure, but somehow this is not reachable. I think it's right here. All right, so if I do that and this, the way that I do these elevation transitions is first mess up one and then get the next one in. I go one foundation over, and then I have this arc coming through, and that seems to work out pretty good. Yep, that's where it was. So I've got 2 different railways up here. This one runs down along my old coal power plant, which works well, but it does run over into this tunnel and circles around on this roller coaster to get up to here. So I've got this other railway coming through here, my old original railway, and that ends up running down into that lake over there where the beautiful sun is rising, and goes up through that tunnel and over into those stations way out there in the distance. But what I'm going to do is see if I can get this to curve out over this way and then climb up into there. This is an old rail, and I want to get rid of this and redo some of my railway too. This is actually more like a roller coaster, but not quite as bad as this old railway. So let's see what adjustments we can make to this railway, because we have to build a good foundation in order for phase 4 parts to be successful. So down here, I have my current rail going down and up through that tunnel and back up and around that way. What I want to do is build a rail that goes right along the edge of this cliff and stays at this level here. That looks so cool. Yeah, I like that. So I was going to try to have a curve come off here and run straight all the way up over there, which would run into those stations. But I don't know, there wasn't enough room. So it's not like too intrusive where there's just like a skyway going up. I think that keeping this a little bit lower works out pretty well. Okay, so we run up through there, we run over to the side, and then we run over along that cliff and over in through that way over there. And that takes us to the nodes over here, and then also the quartz nodes over in there. All right, I think I have an idea, and this will work for trains coming in from either direction, and I'll be able to utilize one of these switching rails too. So I'm going to send that train here, and I'm going to put another train station here that is just for quartz coming in. And then that train station will have two paths out. This is the path in right here down the middle, and then it can go left and tie back into the main line for the other trains coming in that are delivering quartz, or it'll go to the right and head out this way on somewhere through here. Instead of making quartz down that way in like Tower D, I'm going to make it in one of my basement floors here. So I think these two floors, this quadrant here, these three quadrants here on this floor, and then the other three on the floor above this will be for my quartz. So I'll have a basement level 1 over here and a basement level 2, which will be 1 down. That's going to process my raw quartz into quartz crystal and silica. I have 4 lines running here to drive my quartz crystal floors here, and then 4 more lines that are going down in the basement over here that will run my silica plant down here. Oh, lost power again. There we go. I've made some space. This will be where my quartz crystal will be sent up, and this is where my silica will be sent up. And I made some room here in my steel area to send 8 lines this way. And that'll come up into a mixer type thing like I've been doing, and we'll run down into there for storage. So in this area, this special type spot for doing my quartz is going to have a little bit different setup. Let me show you what that looks like in my planning sheets. All right, welcome to my Mediocre Expansion planning sheets. So basement level 1 is going to be quartz crystal. So 32 machines on each bay. I can make 720 each and consume 1200 each for my raw quartz. For basement level 2, I'll have the same setup, except I'll be making silica. And that's just inverse, so I'll be only consuming 720 quartz and producing 1200 silica per bay. My first silica in this new massive plant, pure throughput. And we're sending silica down. Look at that go. All right. So then I'm just going to get the rest of these machines put in and let all of this stuff flow through. We have a misconfigurement, but I think it's just those few. Okay. Yeah, so I accidentally configured some of those to be silica, and they were supposed to not be that. Screws! Get rid of that! Well, that just about does it for this episode. We now have quartz running in, silica, and the quartz crystal coming out. So what's next? Aluminum? Some phase 1, 2, and 3 space elevator parts? I think that's probably what I'm going to do. Space elevator parts. Get caught up to phase 3 before we get started on aluminum. So I think I'm going to continue to build up further into the sky. Alright, thanks for sticking around. See you next time.